We're going to look at 3 MBT 1A, rounding to the nearest 10 and 100, and our third graders go up to 9,999. Fourth grade, 4 MBT 3A, they're rounding to any place, and they go to the nearest million, or they count to the millions. Also in fourth grade, we introduce decimals to the tenths and hundredths, which is important in fifth grade because of 5 MBT 4A. They round decimals to any place, which includes the tenths, the hundredths, and the thousandths. It's important for teachers to look at the trajectory and look at second grade standards, because in second grade, students begin to estimate. They estimate in 2 domains, in numbers and base 10, and also in the measurement domain. So they are slowly being introduced to rounding, but it doesn't clearly state rounding. It says estimate. So over the years, rounding has become a procedure for teachers to teach. If it's 5 or greater, you round up, or if not, you round down. The goal with our current standards is to have students understand why they are rounding and where they are rounding to, and that is where place values is important, because we round to multiples of 10, to the nearest 10, to the nearest 100. So our goal with rounding is for students to think with flexibility, to make friendly numbers, and then to understand while they're rounding. It's not just a number and they round. We want it in real life applications, and we want it in word problems. So enjoy our next 3 strategies.
Dot array drawings can be used to review rounding, which was initially taught in 3rd grade. With a dot array model, what you do is you take a number that you want to round, such as 37. You illustrate this number with 3 quick tens and 7 ones. Then you say 37 comes in between 30 and 40. You illustrate 30 with 3 quick tens and 40 with 4 quick tens. And then you look at which number do they all have in common. They all have 3 quick tens. Then what you say is there are 7 ones over here. When you look at the 7 ones, you ask yourself, are the 7 ones closer to a 10, or are they closer to none? Children can clearly see that it takes 3 more ones to make a 10, and they would have to take 7 of these ones away to make none. It is very obvious then that you would take the 7 ones and make them into a quick 10, and you would round 37 to the nearest 10, and it would become 40. This model can also be used to round to the nearest 100.
The strategy I'm going to be talking about with rounding is rounding mountains. To me, this strategy helps students see exactly what numbers come between the 2 that you might be rounding to. Before you start the strategy, it's important for students to be able to count by not only ones, but tens and hundreds and thousands as well. So we're going to round 4,387 to the nearest 10. So on the mountain I put 4,381. Notice I put 4,385 at the top, because you need to find out where your number falls. So when we plot 4,387 on the mountain, then you're going to see that it's closer to 4,390 than it is to 4,380. So it would round to 4,390. When you're rounding to the nearest 100, you have to figure out which tens come between 4,300 and 4,400. Again, 4,350 comes at the top because it's halfway between 4,300, 4,400. So when I put 4,387 on the mountain, I know that 87 comes between 80 and 90. So it would come somewhere on here, and it would round to 4,400. If I'm rounding to the nearest 1,000, somewhere between 4,000 and 5,000 is 4,387. So when I look, it's 4,100, 200, 300, 400. And when I look in the hundreds place, I know 4,387 falls somewhere in between here. So it would be on this side of the mountain and round to 4,000. Now for your kinesthetic tactile learners, they can actually get bear counters and use the bear to plot the numbers. I hope this strategy helps, and I hope that it works with your students.
My strategy that we're going to show is using a number line. We can round on a number line to the nearest tenth or to the nearest 100. It doesn't matter. So, example, rounding to the nearest 10. Our students need to know what are the multiples of 10. Where does 368 fall in between? 360, 370, 380, or where? I have my students plot the number on the number line. We count by tens. We're looking what number is in the tens place. Where is the tens place? That's where place value is important. We know that 368 is between 360, 370. What is halfway between these two tens? 365. So, where is 368 on this number line? It is past 365. It's greater than 365. Therefore, it rounds to the nearest 10 to be 370. This number can work to the nearest 100 as well. What two hundredths does 368 fall in between? Plotting it on a number line, it is between 300 and 400. What is halfway between 300 and 400? 350. Where does 368 fall on the number line? It's greater than 350, therefore it rounds to 400. Now, I know these are just numbers, but how is rounding important? When you do word problems, when you're talking money at the store, we need to put these numbers in relationship to word problems, and that's how I teach it in my class. I hope this helps, and have a good day.
So before you teach rounding to your students, make sure you check the progressions, the trajectory, find out which place your students have to round to. I hope these strategies helped you some today, and I hope they work for your kids.